Hey, how's it going, everybody? Hope you're doing well. In this video, I want to update you guys on the progress of my Ice Shot Sniper Deadeye build that I've been playing in hardcore solo self-found after the first 7 days of patch 0.3. Currently somewhere in the top 50 at the time of this recording, and one of the top 4 Deadeyes in HCSSF. I've been blasting juiced 6 modded T15 maps with Abyssal mods, and I'm gearing up to take on my first round of Pinnacle bosses. I've made some pretty significant breakthroughs with this build, and I'm excited to share them with you guys. Let's get into it. As I mentioned in my previous build introduction video, this build is using Ice Shot as its primary attack, but to improve its clearing capabilities, I've introduced the support gem Frozen Spite into Herald of Ice. This creates ice crystals, similarly to ice-tipped arrows, whenever Herald of Ice kills monsters, which is actually so much better than using ice-tipped arrows. These crystals add significant automated AoE clear without including extra button presses, and these also can be targeted using freezing salvo to further increase clearing capabilities. For single target damage, the build is using Barrage with Snipe to deal massive burst damage to bosses and one-shot rare monsters. Make sure you're using Ice Bite on the attack you're freezing with, as it adds an additional 25% damage as cold to your snipe. Currently, I'm using Weapon Swap to a second, more single-target, heavy-hitting bow for my snipes, and for clearing with Ice Shot, I'm using a Gemini bow for the extra projectile. All of this has been supplemented by massive gear improvements, which have been made entirely through new crafting additions that have been added in 0.3, which I will cover pretty shortly. As always, guys, the Mobalytics written guide has also been updated, which you can view in the link in the video description. All right, guys, so let's quickly break down the updated character sheet here. So this is my character at level 92, currently sitting at 1700 life, 4500 energy shield, still at 100 spirit, with 55% evasion just naturally, and of course this goes up to about 60% while using Tailwind as well, even more so, which in turn will improve the deflection rating up to 33%, which is making the character feel extremely chunky right now. I think I'm sitting at about 25,000 effective HP. Of course, I have everything maxed resistance-wise. And yeah, so this character is feeling pretty damn chunky and pretty damn defensive at the level 92 mark here. So I quickly want to go over the changes to the skill and support gems that I'm using for this build. They're very similar to my previous build video with a couple additions in the form of 6 links. So the first one is Ice Shot, which was 6 linked before, and it's just, I've actually included projectile acceleration to add quite a bit of damage here. It adds about 1.1k tooltip damage, which is super nice. And then I'm using the same support gems as previously, so Cold Attunement for extra cold damage, Rapid Attacks, Elemental Armament 2, and Ice Bite. So I ended up getting a 6 link for Snipe, and I added projectile acceleration as well, which adds, you know, a decent little bit of damage there. And then we're using Heft, Elemental Armament 2, Window of Opportunity 2, and Cold Attunement. And then Escape Shot, kind of the classic stuff that I was using before, Deep Freeze, Freeze, and Rapid Attacks 2. Freezing Salvo, same thing as before, Freeze, Elemental Armament 2, and Rapid Attacks. On Barrage, I added a Greater Jeweler's Orb, and I added in Rapid Casting just to cast Barrage a little bit faster to shorten down the timing for the Snipe combo. And then we're using Heightened Charges, Perpetual Charge, and Cooldown Recovery. On Freezing Mark, I have just Prolonged Duration 2 and Freeze. And this is the big breakthrough for the build here, guys. Herald of Ice with a 6 link. You don't need a 6 link on Herald of Ice to make this function. You really need a 5 link, though. So on this, I have Elemental Armament 2, Execute 2, Cold Attunement, and Frozen Spite. So this is the big breakthrough for this build that's really helping with clear, as I mentioned earlier, summoning these ice fragments when killing frozen enemies. And these ice fragments actually deal damage based on 10% of the frozen target's maximum life as cold damage. Super nice. And then on this, I also have added in Magnified Area for extra AoE. And then nothing has changed with Combat Frenzy with Charged Perfusion and Clarity. And Wind Dancer still using Blind 2, Maim, and Magnified Area 2. Next, I just want to quickly go over the passive tree here, guys. So I have got my 4th Ascension. So I've obtained the Endless Munitions final notable there. And then over here, there's been some significant changes. So I actually stopped using this and respect into Deflect. So I grabbed this deflection, the Wildcat deflection node here. I grabbed this elemental damage node here. And then what I've done is I've actually moved over here, grabbed Spectral Ward as something that wasn't in the build before. And I've also grabbed some energy shield recharge rate over here, which has been super nice. And I'm going to just be going into this area of elemental damage next until I have enough points to work my way up and to grab this last jewel socket. And then maybe on the final levels, I'll probably move over here and grab this elemental damage stuff and exposure stuff. So that's kind of my thought process. Other than that, the skill tree is essentially the exact same as last time. So that will be in the Mobalytics link below as well. All right, last but not least, let's go over the gear. This has been significantly improved since my last video over the course of a few days as soon as I got to maps. I'm not going to go into depth about how to craft in this video, but I'd be happy to kind of break down sort of my process for crafting items in 0.3. If y'all are interested in that, leave a comment below and let me know, because there's a lot of amazing crafting that you can do to really help supplement your gear. So I'm working with 2 different bows right now. This is the bow that I was using for quite a long time after getting into maps. So it's got the additional arrow as a suffix, which is super nice. So with this on, I'm actually firing 4 arrows for clear, which is super nice. But I've actually just crafted this other bow here, which has a tier 1 cold damage. It has the plus 4 levels to all attack skills, which you get from the perfect essence of battle, I believe, and increased elemental damage. So this bow, although reducing my arrows from 4 to 3, gives me 5,000 tooltip damage for Ice Shot. So I've been using this. I don't know if it's better than using this and having 4 arrows, but the reason why I'm using this right now is because the attack skills actually improves your Herald of Ice level as well. So if you're using these projectile skills, you're not gaining levels on freezing mark, on freeze, you know, all these other things. So you really want the levels to attack skills that you get from the perfect essence of battle to improve that Herald of Ice damage as well. So next off, let's look at the quiver. Quiver's been upgraded. We're looking at a 21% attack speed increase here, triple flat damage with decent rolls. I would have loved to hit projectile levels on this particular quiver, but this is giving us quite a bit of damage here. And sorry, I forgot to go over the weapon swap weapon. So when I'm using snipe, I'm weapon swapping to this bow here, which I've created using crafting as well. So just a really solid, heavy hitting a bow, really high physical damage at 375 top end, plus 4 to all attack skills as well, with additional cold damage. The other two suffixes aren't great. I would have loved for some attack speed or something else along those lines, but this is hitting extremely hard on the snipe weapon swap. Okay, next up we have our body armor. This body armor has been used for quite a bit. It's not amazing. I'm looking to basically project craft a new body armor with 1,000 EV and basically 400 energy shield at a minimum. So this is going to be the next piece that I replace, but it's good enough for now. Next up, we have the helmet. So this helmet is super chunky. Got a nice roll of 442 energy shield with the double socket, double iron rune. So I don't expect to be replacing this helmet anytime soon. It just provides so much energy shield and evasion with subterfuge mask. Let's take a look at the jewelry. So I've crafted this amulet recently. This amulet is absolutely stacked. So we got T1 evasion, T1 global defense increase, T2 increased maximum energy shield. We have a triple res with a hybrid lightning, chaos, and fire, and all attributes. And then anointed heavy ammunition on this as well for extra projectile damage. This amulet is so good as a defensive beacon for me, just improving everything defensive wise, evasion, energy shield, and global defenses. It's an absolute monster. And yeah, just straight up crafted, guys, with essences as well. Okay, so next let's look at the other rings. So this ring I crafted using a Omen of Purification. So if you find these guys, these are actually wonderful items that you can craft with. So I just hit this on a amethyst ring, rolled double flat, evasion, dexterity, and a double resistance as well. Next up, we have the ruby ring here. This is probably another piece I'm going to be looking to replace pretty soon. Flat damage. We have a T1 increased cold damage max roll, which is super nice. Would have loved for max HP on this, and then double res and mana leech. Not terrible, but not exactly what I'm looking for. On the gloves, these are another piece that I'm probably looking to replace at a decent pace. Got decent evasion, energy shield, flat damage, life, attack speed. Basically, all the things you want, but kind of lower on the roll end. So looking to get a better pair of these eventually too. These boots I've had for a while. 30% max life, triple res. I'm happy with these, and I will be replacing these when I get a 35 with the same rolls. And then the belt here, I think the belt is probably something that I also need to replace because of the 1 charm slot. Really looking to get that 2 charm slot so I can have 3 in total. But I'm getting a decent amount of max life here with over 150 with the additional strength, and then a nice double res tier 2 and tier 3. And then for charms, I'm using the Staunching Charm for bleed and the Thawing Charm as well. All right, everybody, that wraps it up for this update on the Ice Shot Sniper Cold Deadeye build for hardcore solo self-found. If you're enjoying the build, hit the like button and subscribe to follow along with more updates and more PoE 2 content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.